Well, hello, year 12. Welcome to your feedback session for the Breadth paper 2016. We're just going to go through the 20 multiple choice questions because you have the answers, but not the explanation. So I'm going to try and go through the explanation as quickly as possible. Let's start with question 1. Maybe. Here we go. Which row shows the atomic structure of 37Cl-? So first you need to look in your periodic table and find out that the atomic number for chlorine is 17. Therefore, you know the number of proton is 17, it's the atomic number. The number of electron has to be 18, so 17, number of proton plus 1 because the charge is minus 1. And the number of neutron is going to be the mass number minus the atomic number, so 20. Therefore, the correct answer was B. Question 2, what is the formula of ammonium sulfide? So here you need to remember the formula of ammonium, it's NH4+. This one you need to know. Then sulfide, if it finishes by IDE, it just means it's an atom of an element that has gained electrons. So in that case, it's sulfur, which has gained electrons. Sulfur belongs to group 6 to form S2-. Therefore, the aluminum sulfide would be NH4 bracket 2. S, because you want your compound to be electrically neutral, so in the same number of positive and negative charge, so you need 2 NH4 plus ions, and you need to know that one. Number 3, calcium nitrate, CaNO3 decomposes when heated as shown below. It forms calcium oxide, 2 nitrogen dioxide, and half a molecule of oxygen. A student decomposes 0.005 moles and collects the gas produced. Calculate the volume of gas at room temperature and pressure. So here there's quite a lot of important things. A, we're making two different gaseous products, NO2 and O2, and we're working at RTP, so we could use the equation volume of gas equal number of mole of gas times 24 if we work in decimeter cube, or 24,000 if we work in centimeter cube. So here we know we start with 0.05 mole of CaNO3. So to calculate the number of mole of NO2, we need to multiply that number by 2. So we have 0.01 mole of NO2 gas. The number of mole of oxygen is going to be the number of mole of calcium nitrate divided by 2, so 0.0025. So the total number of mole of gas is 0.0125, and we multiply this by 24,000 to get our answer in centimeter cube and find 300. So the correct answer is D. Next question, which equation is not a neutralization reaction? So neutralization is when an acid reacts with a base to form a salt and sometimes water. And the one here that is not an example of a neutralization reaction is the first one, because calcium is not a base, it is a metal. And the first reaction is a redox reaction where calcium is going to lose 2 electrons and hydrogen gain 2 electrons from H2. So it is answer A. Okay, all the other ones are going to be acid and alkali, including D. NH3 is an alkali, HCl is an acid, so D is also neutralization. Question 5, what is the oxidation number of nitrogen in MgNO32? Okay, so here we need to look at all the oxidation number that we know and add them together to give the total charge of our compound, which is 0. Mg is a plus 2. Mg belongs to group 2, so the oxidation state is plus 2. Therefore, each NO3 has to be minus 1. So each oxygen is minus 2. So 3 times minus 2 is minus 6. So for NO3 to be minus 1, N has to be plus 5. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, let me know. I'll give you some more practice question on that. Question 6, how many orbitals are occupied in a silicon atom? So for this one, you need to draw the entire electronic structure. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p2. Each little square is an orbital, so you're going to have to count the number of square occupied. So the 1s and 2s is 1 orbital each. The 2p is made of 3 orbitals. 3s is made of 1 orbital. The 3p is made of 3 orbitals, but only 2 of them are occupied by single electrons. So overall, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 orbitals are occupied. Answer C. A dot and cross diagram for nitrogen trichloride is shown below. Correct shape and bond angle. So if you look at the central atom, it is surrounded by 3 shared pair of electrons that repel equally, 1 lone pair of electrons that repel more. Therefore, the shape is pyramidal and the bond angle is 107 degrees. So the answer is B. You need to know all the shape, you need to know all the bond angle, and the explanation is always going to be the same. How many pairs of electrons that repel equally? How many pairs of electrons that repel more? Hence the shape, hence the bond angle. Always copy and paste, replace the numbers by the correct ones. Number 8, what is the shape around the carbon atom in graphene? So in graphene, each atom of carbon is bonded to 3 atoms of carbon, and the other electron is delocalized and shared with the rest of the structure. So around the central atom, you have 3 shared pair of electrons that repel equally. There is no lone pair of electrons that repel more. Therefore, it's trigonal planar, and the bond angle is 120 degrees. So the answer to 8 is D. Number 9, electron configurations for atoms of different elements are shown below. Which electron's configuration represents the element with the largest first ionization energy? Okay, so for this one, we need to remember, first ionization energy is the energy required to remove 1 mole of electron from 1 mole of atom in a gaseous state. The 3 factors that are going to affect the first ionization energy are the nuclear charge, the atomic radius, and the electron shielding. So straight away, we see that for D, there is a lot more electron shielding than for A, B, and C. Okay, the outer shell is further away, there is an extra shell in between, so it cannot be D. This electron is going to be pretty easy to remove compared to the other. So then you have to compare A, B, and C, which all belong to period 2. So then you look at it, and you must remember that when you go from left to right across the period, the first ionization energy increases. Because the nuclear charge increases, the shielding stays the same, and the atomic radius decreases slightly. Therefore, the one that's the most on the right is C. So the good answer is C. You need also to remember that when you go from S to P, there is a small drop in first ionization energy. And when you go from 2p3 to 2p4, there is also a small drop because you are removing a paired electron. So, answer C. 10. Successive ionization energies of 4 elements in period 3 are shown below. Which letter could represent magnesium? So we know that magnesium belongs to group 2. It has 2 electrons in its outer shell. Therefore, the first 2 are going to have similar ionization energy. But then the third one is going to be removed from a shell that is a lot closer to the nucleus. So you should have a huge gap between the second and third ionization energy. And the only possible answer here would be B, because you go from 1400 to 7700 between the second and third. Therefore, you are removing an electron between 2 and 3 from a lower energy level. Number 11, a student had aqueous sodium carbonate, so that's base, to one test tube, and aqueous silver nitrate to a second test tube. The student adds dilute sulfuric acid to each test tube. So if you have sodium carbonate with the sulfuric acid, you're going to have acid plus metal carbonate goes to salt plus carbon dioxide plus water, so you should see effervescence. So it's either going to be C or D. And then silver nitrate is going to react with sulfate to form a precipitate. So the correct answer was D. And that's where we do the test for sulfate before we do the test for halides. Because if we didn't test for sulfate first and we had a precipitate adding silver nitrate, we're not sure if it's because of the halide or because of the sulfate. So you're always going to test the sulfate first. By using barium chloride, I think. Number 12. The enthalpy change of formation of butane can be calculated using the enthalpy changes of combustion. So remember, combustion is the reaction of 1 mole of a substance with plenty of oxygen. So in that case, our intermediate are going to be CO2 and H2O. So to go from our reactants to the intermediate, you're going to combust 4 atoms of carbon and 5 molecules of hydrogen. And then to go from the intermediate to your final product, you're going to decombust C4H10. So you're going to draw your diagram. I've written it out now. So Hess's law. And the enthalpy change of formation will be 4 times the enthalpy change of combustion of carbon plus 5 times the enthalpy change of hydrogen minus 1 time the enthalpy change of combustion of C4H10. And if you do this calculation, you should find minus 129 kilojoules per mole, answer B. The skeletal formulae of 4 alcohol are shown below. Which pair of alcohol are structural isomers of each other? So remember, structural isomers, they have the same molecular formula, but different structural formulae. So I've calculated the molecular formula of E, F, G, and H. Okay, and the only one that have the same molecular formula are E and G. Therefore, the answer is B. Question 14. What is the name of the following compound? So it has the main functional group is alkane. The longest chain is made of 4 carbon. We have 2 chloro and 1 methyl side chain. Therefore, it is the 2,3-dichloro-2-methylbutane. I hope you got that right. Number 15. Which compound has non-polar molecule? This one's weird. You have to draw all your compounds. And remember that chlorine is more electronegative than carbon. And pretty much if you draw all your dipoles, you see that there is only one where the dipoles cancel each other. It's for B. All the other ones either have 1 dipoles, or when the dipoles are added up, they don't cancel each other out. So the only non-polar one was B. This one is not obvious, but just draw the arrows and you will get the correct answer. Number 16. The displayed formula of a hydrocarbon is shown below. Calculated number of sigma and pi bonds. Remember, sigma bonds are direct overlap of 2 orbitals. So every single bond is a sigma bond, and then the pi bond is the sideways overlap of 2 p orbitals, and there is 1 pi bond per double bond. So if you count all your bonds here, you should have 12. That's 12 sigma, and out of these 12, 2 of them are double bonds, so 2 pi bonds. So the answer for this one is D. Question 17. Chlorine reacts with 1 chloropropane in the presence of UV radiation via radical substitution mechanism. Which equation saw a propagation step? So remember, propagation step, 1 molecule reacts with a radical to make a new molecule and a new radical. And the only possible answer for this one was that's wrong. It's completely wrong. The answer is D. Because you're forming a radical. Yeah, the answer is D. Sorry. Remove that answer. You shouldn't say C, you should say D. Oh, shame. Yeah, I'm just checking now. Yeah, I'm wrong. It's D. 17 is D. Next question. 18. Which alcohol can be oxidized by K2Cr2O7? All right, question 18. Which alcohol can be oxidized by acidified potassium dichromate to form a ketone? So we know that to form a ketone, you need a secondary alcohol. The carbon bonded to OH needs to be bonded to 1 hydrogen only. And if you look, A is a primary alcohol, B secondary, C tertiary, D primary. So the answer has to be B. A and D would form an aldehyde first, then a carboxylic acid, whereas C would not react at all. Question 19. Reaction sequence is shown below. Which type of mechanism is involved in each step? So the first one is going to be an addition. Okay, you can see it because you only have 1 product. And the only addition we know with the double bond carbon-carbon or with an alkene is going to be an electrophilic addition. And then we are replacing a Br, which is a minus or delta minus, by an OH, which is also minus or delta minus, which is a nucleophilic substitution. Therefore, the answer is B. And finally, when heated with NaOH, 1 iodobutane is hydrolyzed. And the answer is here. Sorry, I don't have time. Ta-da! Bye, guys.